Welcome to the Action Playbook. I'm Jason Fox.
And I'm Coach Robin.
And we are helping leaders take action in life and business. So what Robin's talking about is it's Sunday morning, we're recording here, and Jason didn't get home till about 12:30 last night. And yeah, I had a lot of wine. It was lovely. Nice drop, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, started at Clarence and then ended up at Alpino.
Oh. Bit of Italiano.
Yeah, we're supporting Noel. But anyway, that aside, we're back with episode 35, and today we're going to take stock, not like stealing, not like a stock take, but more like reflection.
Yeah. Reflection. Yeah, I mean, by the time this goes out, we're going to be almost at the end of the year.
Yep.
So this is December 2023. We're into December. Can you believe it?
I can.
And this is a time, you know, for financial institutions like, I don't know, accountants and the IRD and so on, tax or revenue services, they always work on a different year end. It's called the financial year end. Mm-hmm. But there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that December is for all of us, business owners and employees alike, where it's a good time. It's probably the time when most people look back and go, you know, what happened this year? Do I want this happening again? And invariably, everybody says, "Oh, I want it to be better next year."
Yeah. Well, I'd say if they're not saying I want it to be better the next year, there's something wrong. Yeah. Even if you won lotto, I'm sure there's something that you could do better the following year. You know, so yeah. You're not like, oh, that was a good year, but man, I hope I have a shit year next year.
I only did that once. No, 100% right. We all need to be striving for something better, right? Otherwise, we're just stagnating or living that carbon copy life, and nobody chooses to do that. So this is a time of the year when we look back and we take stock. And on our first episode, we said that we would do some hard hitting as well. You know, that we're going to do some education. We're going to do some hard hitting topics that are relevant at the time. Yep. This is one of those, because I think 2023 has been a tough year. Mm-hmm. We've had a lot to come to grips with, a lot to understand, a lot of confusion to work through, which has led to a lot of excuses, and I'll circle back to that in a second. But I mean, let's just look at, you know, everything that we've had to deal with this year, right? We're still on that hangover from COVID. Yeah. Certainly at the start of the year, we were still well into the hangover of COVID and lockdowns and the impact on business, the mandates and all of that for hospitality, for example.
Yeah, so the overflow of that is a lot of businesses probably had what Robin likes to call a war chest. They had some money aside to ensure that they were okay for a rainy day, and then their businesses got shut down and all of that money got swallowed up.
And having to start rebuilding the war chest again.
And it hasn't been an easy year to rebuild that, because now we've had engineered recessions, inflation, interest rates, which goes hand in hand with inflation. We had the petrol prices. Yeah. I mean, that's been up and down like a yo-yo. Mm-hmm. I was going to say a dwarf with a yo-yo, but I'm not sure we're allowed to say that. It's been hitting the ground a lot this year. That's called walk the dog.
Yeah, remember that? Oh. All those moves. The Eiffel Tower.
The Eiffel Tower. Fucking hell. Okay.
Back to the topic. So yeah, I mean, the petrol prices have been going up and down. We had the elections.
Yeah. And it took a little while, not too long, but a little while to form a government.
Exactly.
So everyone's like, oh yeah, okay, let's move. Feeling confident.
Yeah.
Oh wait, what? They're putting that red devil back in power? What's going on here? Okay, now we're good. We can go again. Oh, what? We've got a deputy prime minister, and then it's going to change. We're going to have a different deputy prime minister. Yeah, there's still some uncertainty out of there, but things are a lot clearer.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just domestically, right? That's just on the domestic front. Think about everything else that's been going on globally. We've had the war in the Ukraine.
Yep.
We've had Hamas in Gaza. We've had, dollar prices globally. The dollar price has been hammered. There's been fiscally, there's been huge debts run up for governments at a government level. So globally, things have tightened up. China has definitely taken a knock in terms of its trade.
Yeah.
And that's affected us locally here too. And so, all these things that have happened over the last year, and when you stop and take stock and you go, geez, that's a lot. And it was a lot, right? There's absolutely no doubt that there's been much confusion and much to work through. However, and this is a point I really want to make, we have to stop making excuses at some point. I mean, it's undeniable there was a global pandemic called COVID, right? We can't deny that. But what we can deny is how long it takes to not be a crisis anymore. See, I believe that. I believe a crisis is something we can choose to either continue accepting or draw a line and say, right, that's done. It's time to move on. But it's still too much halo effect or hangover effect from that, and still being used for, since COVID, we haven't been able to bounce back like we were before.
Lame excuse to know it's below the line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. We're not going to buy that stuff that we ordered. We're going to hold off on that until after the elections. It creates all of these excuses, but there's a point where you draw the line and you're saying, that's it. This is the new. And yes, it might get better. Hey, it might even get worse. But if you at least accept and then move on as this is the new, then what follows can either be better or has put you in a better position to adapt to the next phase of a downturn, further downturn.
Yeah.
So the point I'm getting to really is, two things. One is take time, take stock of what's happened this last year, look at what's worked and what hasn't worked, and then it's time to get proactive and draw that line in the sand and say, right, elections are done, because you know the point of power, right? There's the 3 behaviors above the line, and then there's 3 behaviors below the line. Blame, excuses, denial are the ones that are below. Now, blame, excuses, denial is a victim mentality, blame, right? Oh, it was the previous government that did this. Denial. She'll come right.
Yeah,
she'll be all right.
It's not in my control. I can't do anything with this.
Yeah. And then excuses, and there's plenty. There's plenty at the moment. I mean, this year has provided probably the most number of excuses I've come across in 1 year.
Yeah.
But those are all below the line. They are victim, and they drain our energies, and they hold us back from achieving what we need to. Above the line is ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And so that's talking about what is in our control and what is not in our control. What is in our control is where we go to from today. So as we get to the end of the year, you absolutely, I think everybody out there has earned a good holiday break. Take the time to relax, re-energize, charge up those batteries, enjoy the quality time with the people that really matter in your life, your family, and be ready for next year. Draw that line in the sand. Draw that line in the sand and say, right, that was 23. Done. Right. No more excuses.
Yeah.
Let's take on 24 and make this a great year. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I think that we're still in for some tough times. We're still in for a period where people are going to hold off spending because they're just not confident. It's consumer confidence is what they call it. There's a lack of confidence to spend money, but that's okay. That's the new. So now that we understand that, what can we do? What is the pro-action we can take that puts us forward, that pushes us forward, maybe in a new direction or a slightly different direction, but in one that puts us in a good position moving forward from here, rather than she'll be all right, just got to wait for it to change.
Yep. And that's not just business. It's your relationships, it's your fitness, your well-being, your diet. What have you actually done? What are you proud of? Are you proud they put on 5 kgs this year? Probably not. Well, what did you do this year? You know what? I started having KFC every Wednesday with my mates and ice cream every night. Well, maybe if we pull that back, as good as it tastes, next year you might be 5 kgs lighter and feeling better about yourself towards the end of the year. So just have a look at everything you've done.
Yeah, and stop the excuses. You know, oh, I'm so busy, I only have time for Macca's. I only have time to pull into Macca's. It's not true. You can pull into any grocery, any shop, you know, and get yourself a salad.
Yeah, we all get the same amount of hours in the day, right? That we're seeing this quite a lot at the moment. People, especially with my wife, the amount of appointments she goes through. Oh, I'm just so busy. Like, but someone asked me to do something and I've got it back to them in a few hours. You want something done in a hurry? Ask a busy person. I'm not sitting there going, oh man, you don't realise how much I got on at the moment. So, okay, bang, 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 cool. Yep, that's back to you. Thanks. Now, where was I? And you carry on.
Yeah.
Like, just take ownership. So reflect on where you haven't taken ownership, because next year's your year, baby.
Yeah, and just like I said, you know, that blame, excuses, and denial is the victim mentality. Taking ownership, accountability, and responsibility is the victor mentality. So, you know, let's get up above the line. I think also just something that you touched on, I just want to make this point again. I think I've made it a few times, but you know, part of taking stock, part of looking at our health and everything else is this idea of New Year's resolutions.
Ooh, say it again.
and I think it's safe to say that, you know, probably, I don't know, more than 95%, I reckon, of New Year's resolutions die before they're achieved, right? Mm-hmm. And they talk about February is the resolution killer month. Because that's the time when people give up on, you know, they've joined the gym, they've gone twice, and then it becomes too hard. And so part of the reason for the failure on that is because it's all in the heads and it's not on paper.
Yep.
So as you take stock, as you look at what's worked and what hasn't, and remember, we want to do more of what's worked and cut out what hasn't. As we take stock of those things and we write them down, create a plan, create a roadmap of how we're going to improve on that. Because as long as it's in your head, it's just an idea, there's no real accountability to that other than to yourself, and that's just too easy to convince oneself that it wasn't such a great idea as you know, when you were 12 drinks deep on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Goals without a plan are just a dream. And failing to plan is planning to fail. So,
100%.
What's your goals? Put it on paper. Now you got a plan. It can stay a goal. Otherwise, you're a dreamer. So yeah, ultimately, reflect on the year, make a plan. 24 is your year, baby. Let's go.
Yep, I agree. Draw that line in the sand and take action. 2024, baby.
You.